ahead and start, so whenever you're ready.
I grew up in the high desert. Too much water is not on my radar. However, floods are the #1 cause of displacement every year from natural disasters. Contrary to popular belief in northern Arizona, floods aren't far from home. Statistically, the Rio de Flag has flooded every 5 years. The threat of a 100-year and 500-year flood are looming for one of Flagstaff's at-risk communities, the South Side. I became interested in the Rio in light of recent urban renewal. I asked myself, what does socially sustainable development look like? Who benefits and who is at risk? I completed a stakeholder analysis to understand the social implications of the Rio's management. Through my research, I discovered that a social flood of inequality had already drowned the South Side. Let me tell you a story. In the early 1900s, the city moved the Rio de Flag. To prevent flooding in the historic downtown, they redirected the Rio to the South Side neighborhood. In 1983, FEMA declared the South Side a floodplain. This floodplain jurisdiction increased building regulations, lowered property values, and halted urban renewal for 3 decades. Spanish sheep herders, Asian business owners, and Latino and African American railroad and lumberyard workers were segregated to the South Side. The 1983 floodplain jurisdiction is just another drop in the already overflowing bathtub of inequalities. But there is a plan. The Army Corps of Engineers and the city have proposed a $107 million Rio project, which would remove the floodplain as well as expedite the process of gentrification, which is the process of affluent whites moving into traditionally low-income ethnic areas. The city has yet to receive federal funding. The South Side remains in a floodplain today. Why is this important? In order for the Flagstaff community to achieve sustainable development, we must not only recognize the economic and environmental, but also the social factors. My research reveals three key things. 1, the city of Flagstaff holds the most economic power and interest in the Rio, and therefore holds the key to the entire project, and the most responsibility. 2nd, a lack of collaboration between stakeholders has closed possible local funding channels to remove that floodplain veil. Lastly, the ethnic, the minority voices of the Southside residents have not been heard throughout the Rio project. My research is important on both a local and global scale. As climate change increases weather severity and rises sea tables, floods will become as household as a leaky faucet. My research can be used for further flood management studies to show that it is vital to recognize the history and vulnerabilities of a population. I hope that my research can help urban planners in Flagstaff and beyond to make decisions that are sustainable for all voices.